Hey, welcome to the start of league racing. Finally, it's here. This is WOR, which is not the same as the leagues you join in-game. This is an independent league that's run outside of it. So it does require applications, time trials, things like that to prove your pace to get in. So it's much more competitive. Starting off on the formation lap here, so for those who aren't aware, formation laps will start at the beginning of every race. Gives you a chance to warm up your engine, your brakes, your tires, and get set for the race. And if you don't do this well, you could very much struggle on your race start, especially if your tires are too cold, you won't get any traction. Basic rules in the formation lap is, obviously one, you don't want to get any collisions, but two, there's no overtaking. The Red Bull who went by only did so because he spun in the first corner and was allowed to retake a spot. But that's why you see I did some extra braking there just to make sure I didn't pass that car in the corner. Normally it would give you a chance to get back the position if you take it by accident. With the game being new and having a lot of bugs, I didn't want to risk it giving me a penalty off the start, so I kind of played it safe and just basically came to a halt. Here, since we're on mediums, we're aiming for high 80s. The tire temperatures, both the carcass and the surface. And we're getting pretty close, but coming around the corner here, if you look far ahead, you'll actually notice these cars come to a stop, and we realize at last second just to make it through in between. I'm not sure if maybe they avoided a collision previously that I hadn't seen, but I definitely didn't expect them to come to a halt there. It's definitely not normal. But luckily we made it through, no problems, so it's time to form the grid. You'll notice in the top, top right there, we are starting in 16th. This is a social race, this is not a full-on league race, this is a pre-race. The season starts next week. Not everyone could make it, but thanks to a poor qualifier, we are starting in the back. So we've put on the medium tires. The strategy here would be to try and make back as much positions as we can, and once the soft drivers do come into the pits, it would give us a chance to continue to make up some places from there. The Red Bull gets a chance to reform on the grid. So just like the last race I had posted in France, a similar kind of idea off the start. I'm not trying to gain any crazy positions off the start. I realistically, turn one, I expect to be pretty hectic. It always is. So being in the back, I'd rather hang back a little bit, which would A, make it safer to get through, and B, it's just going to give me a better entry onto the straight, so I could go for some overtakes there. There is a huge gap here. I didn't want to take it, but then I noticed the Haas there is really holding back, so I said go for the overtake. We go 1, 2, 3, 4 drivers passing the first turn. I believe 3 of them off the track, taking one more here, bringing us up to P11, so coming up 5 spots on the first turn, which is fantastic. Coming in here again, I hang back. I know that it's a turn where the cars do clump up, and the last thing I wanted to do was take my wing off in the very first turn. That would have been awful. It's a 36 lap race, so patience here is going to be important, especially given the strategy I'm on. The whole point is not to push incredibly hard at the beginning. It is to take my time, be a little safer. With the medium tires, you're not going to get any optimal traction until the 3rd, 4th lap at least. So I'm just looking for some safe overtakes like the Alpine there, going a little wide, giving me a safe way through, putting us up to P10 on the first lap. Now my goal is honestly just to stick with the cars ahead of me until lap 3, which is when DRS opens up. So we'll go ahead and we'll skip forward, but when the DRS is enabled and you hit the DRS zones, you are allowed to open up the rear wing, which will reduce the downforce and give you a lot more speed on the straight. So here we come through, DRS is enabled, and we do notice that we get a pretty good entry through the corner. So we're going to put the ERS on as well, which is extra power. You'll see there's a percentage to it, so you've got to manage how much you use. But between that and the DRS, it will let us catch up real close to these guys. Now I don't want to push it yet. I don't want to. You can see a slight oversnap there too. The tires aren't completely at their best, but we do want to stick with them. I notice the caution goes up real quick, but it goes away. And honestly, right here, I missed the safety car. Come around the corner, punch it, trying to get past him, not realizing he's going to be slow, and ran right into it. Awful way to start. Honestly, I felt terrible. If he's watching right now, I apologize, because it did give damage to his car as well. My front wing, you saw it goes flying off. So at this point, kind of screws the start up. The only real chance is to go into the pits now. I've got no option. I got to go in, throw on another set of mediums, change the front wing, but unfortunately, because I hit him into safety with the safety car out of the virtual safety car, it gives me a 5-second penalty, which has to be served before my guys can even start work. Then they have to put on the front wing, which is another 4.85 seconds before I can even leave. So back in the back again. There were a few others who pit but unfortunately, I'm going to be very, very far back here. So the goal really is just to catch up. Luckily, we jump ahead now to lap 8. There was a safety car, which will give us the ability to catch up to the queue before the safety car goes in. So we do manage to come up, and we are sitting at P12. The positions gained were from people entering the pits. Almost hit the Alpine there. The last thing I was expecting was for them to bump up, or bunch up real high right there. I would have expected them to be trying to gain momentum because, as you can see, the safety car was ending. And I kind of thought they'd be on the throttle already, so I thought I had a bit of speed that I could carry through and possibly get a good start. Luckily, we avoided it, and we can carry through here. Still a bit back, but I can see the car heads on hards. I am on medium, so the pace is higher. I do feel confident in being able to catch them too. We get a much better braking zone as well. Car does go wide. You see, I believe it's an Aston Martin on the side there that spun out, giving us the position, putting us up to 11th. The safety car did not come out on that one, or no virtual safety cars, so we can continue racing. But now it's on to catch the next guys. So sitting 11, trying to catch 10th. Look behind us, we do have a car right on our ass, but I'm not too concerned. I know I've got a lot of speed here. Coming into the corner, get a late break just to kind of bunch up on them and avoid them, but there are a few of them. You got 3 cars there who are kind of battling up for positions, which will, as long as I don't get involved, will give me a bit of a boost here, because as they battle, it will slow them down. Coming through the corner here, got the Alpine. I don't want to hit him. I think I probably could have done it, but as he goes out, I notice his back end touches the curve. And I know he's going to be slow here, so go to punch up, but back off because I'm about to hit him. Unfortunately, he does slide out, and I was a little too close to dodge that one. There's not much I could have done, so I hit him, takes off my wing, spins me around, puts me back into 14th position, which is quite frustrating, but it is what it is in racing. I mean, you can't give up. You don't just stop because it didn't go well. So back to the pits we go. We have to change the wing again because, as you notice, the wing went flying off. Not going to get any pace with the wing as is. At this point, lap 11, my only chance of salvaging this race will be to throw on some hards and try and go long on these. I know everyone's going to have to pit, so maybe I can make up a few positions as I go, and I do. And I'm expecting a safety car around mid-20s, which does happen. I was actually thinking around 24, which is where I'd want to throw on softs. But as we notice real quick, that is my teammate in the wall, which is unfortunate. He actually started in first. So I was right about the safety car, but I wish it wasn't with him. Throwing on the soft tires now. This is basically, now it's time to attack. I know I'm on lap 26. I've got 10 laps left. Another car just pit with me, and I'm in position 9. So now is really my chance to try and catch up and go. And since it's a safety car, I get to catch up with the back of the queue before the race starts, which it does. And as we come around, you'll notice actually at the top here, it says pass Benjamin. I've never seen this before. There's no passing allowed on safety cars, but it did tell me I can do it, so we decided, you know what, I'm just going to go for it. I'm going to see what happens. A little hesitant because I've never seen it. So we come ripping up to go ahead and take the pass. Last second, it goes back to stay behind, so I'm not really sure if that was a bug or an error. We back off so we don't get any penalties. We're not allowed to take that position, but let's get ready for the race to restart. The good thing here is we are in P10. The race is starting. I'm right behind them, so now it's pure attack. Now it's time for me to make up as many positions as possible and try and get as many points to try and salvage this race. Coming around the first turn, he does go out, get a little bit of a slide there, so it gives us the ability to pass the Haas. Throwing on the ERS to see how many positions we can take. We basically at this point need to send it as hard as possible and make up as much time as possible. The DRS opens up for us. We have 6 laps to go. We can see they are right ahead of us and also on medium tires. So I have a very strong advantage here. I don't know how old their tires are, but I do know that my tires are going to be faster. So if I can stick with them and look for an error, I know I can get past them real quick. I do get on their back of them very quickly in the braking zone. I know this is a good shot. Throw in the ERS. I actually wanted to see if I could get the pass done here, which now I know I can't, but he sticks to the inside, so I'm going to see if I can go around the outside and can we get it done. Thankfully, with the soft tires, we're able to hold on there. He does stick with us. The red line shows that he's close, and we do have to respect some room. So we try and leave him enough room to still get by while still trying to take the position. He does back out, which I think is smart given that the medium tires were not quick enough anyway. The risk of an accident was high and it wasn't really worth trying for, so I respect that decision. We're now approaching Mr. Spees, the same one we actually hit in the turn. He spins again, but this time we managed to avoid him, luckily, so we didn't take our wing off this time. And looking back, that little spin did give us a bit of a room from the car who was right on her back before that too. So it kind of helped us a lot, gives us position and a bit of a leeway. But our tires, unfortunately, not doing the greatest. Still got to push, trying to make this spot up. But as we go through, just a little too much throttle, and honestly, that's all it takes. These cars have a lot of power. There's no traction control on. It spins around. I do have to wait respectfully for everyone else to go through. This is kind of the end of the race. There's only 2 laps left. I do have to pit to change the wing. I'll come back out on softs just in case someone else makes an accident. But really, at this point, I just want to finish. I thought about retiring it, but I am in points, so at the end of the day, it's better than nothing. Coming across the line, we ended 8th, so from 16th to 8th isn't terrible, all things considered. But kind of a rough race, gives us a chance to work it all out. But I'll come back next week and hopefully have better results for you.